Hey math friends, we're going to check out our study guide today, so hopefully this helps you with all that you do. And as we get started here, we're going to just look at these in order. So my first one has me completing this table of values, writing an equation, more practice here. I've got filling out a table of values. I've got a word problem. Then I've got some two-step equations to solve. I've got another word problem and a graph to analyze. All right, so we're going to go do this in order, just so that we structure this for our video here. So our first one says a prepaid cell phone company charges $40 per month plus an additional 6 cents per minute for all calls. Complete the table. 125 minutes used, $40 monthly fee, $7.50 is my minutes used charge, so my total is $47.50. All right, now 275, my minutes use charge here. I want to take 275 times 6 cents. Okay, now I would suggest we use our calculator. For this one, we definitely can. And my minutes use charge then is $16. And now notice my calculator says 16.5. That means 50 cents, not 5 cents. For my total, I'm going to add 40 to it. And again, notice on my calculator it says 56.5. That means 50 cents. Your calculator will cut off that 0. All right, my next one, they give me 500 minutes, so that's $40 fee. I already have the minutes used charged. Add those together, $70. An algebraic equation to represent the total cost. So X is going to be my minutes. It's 6 cents per minute, so I was multiplying that 6 cents by the number of minutes plus my standard monthly fee of $40. How much will it cost to use 350 minutes in 1 month? Well, I'm going to use my equation. When I get to X, substitute 350. Okay, so here that means I multiply. So 0.06 times 350 is 21. Add the 40, I get $61. Right, we have the same idea, but another prepaid cell phone company charges $25 per month and 7 cents per minute. So again, I have this first row is done. Now I have 200, so I'm going to do 0.07 times 200. I get $14. Add that to my 25. It's $39 for the total cost. Next one, monthly fee is $25. Add that to my minutes used charged. 25 plus 46.90. I get 71.9. And remember again, that's $71.90, not 9 cents. Now let's check out the total cost. I'll use my minutes used charge, 7 cents per minute plus $25. And then how much will it cost to use 400 in 1 month? We're going to use that 400, substitute for X, then add the 25. So multiply first. I get 28. Add the 25. So I get $53. All right, let's check out the next part. So next I have my table of values. With my table of values, I'm going to use the expression negative 3x and then substitute in x. So when I have negative 3, then instead of x I use negative 2. Negative 3 times negative 2. You could do that on your calculator if you'd like. Negative 3 times negative 2. I get positive 6. Now, I would suggest, even if you know this really well, use your calculator, because if you're allowed it, it can just help you not make that mental error. Negative 3 times 3. You do also notice, though, my calculator is slowing me down if I know that in my mind. All right, negative 3 times 0, negative 0.1. Negative 3 times negative 0.1. I get 0.3. Negative 3 times 2 2/3. I'm going to change 2 2/3 into an improper fraction. Multiply, add. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so this is 8/3. Negative 3 times 8/3. So one way I can do this on here is negative 3 times parentheses 8/3, and I get negative 8. And we have another one to fill out here. Negative 8x, so negative 8 times negative 4 is 32. With 2, I'll go negative 8 times 2, I get negative 16. With a negative 0.4, multiply that. 3.2. You notice the relation between this and this, right? Now I have a decimal because I did 0.4. 2 1/4, again, let's do improper fraction, multiply, add. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so this is 9/4. Negative 8 times 9/4. So in here, negative 8 times parentheses 9/4, negative 18. All right, we've got a word problem to try here. There are 117 students in the Washington School Band. The number of boys in the band is 9 more than twice the number of girls. Now this one's kind of strange. They ask how many girls and boys belong to the band. This is where my final answer goes. My final answers. So I'm going to do this part last. Writing our expressions though, we can do this one. So let's go here. It says write an expression to represent the number of girls and an expression to represent the number of boys using the variable g to represent the number of girls. So g represents girls. And then I look up here. The number of boys is 9 more than twice the number of girls. So twice the number of girls, 2g, 9 more, so plus 9. Write my equation. I have 117 total equals the number of girls plus the number of boys. And now I solve this. 117 equals g into g is 3g plus 9. And now I solve this like I would normally a two-step equation. Subtract 9, I get 3g. Here I get 108. Divide 3, and move my answer over here. 108 divide 3, 36. So I get 36 equals g. So I know that that means girls. So there's 36 girls. And then my boys, I'm going to do 117 minus that because the other part is the boys. 117 minus 36, I get 81. And I can also subtract straight down 81 boys. So now I'm going to put my final answer over here. 36 girls, 81 boys. All right, let's look at our two-step equations. This is our big skill here, that's why there's so many. So I'm going to always do line down the equal sign and then do opposites that I see. Plus 3, 5, that's the opposite. Divide 5, here I get x equals 1. Let's look at the next one. Negative 3x plus 6. Inverse of plus 6 is minus 6. So I have negative 3x left. Remember, this negative stays with that. Okay? 15 minus 6 is 9. Divide negative 3. And I do get negative 3. All right. As you're going through these, maybe like pause this video too, and then check out each step to make sure you got it right, or do a few and then come back and check. All right, so we do this, 6x, divide 6, x equals 1. Over here with parentheses, I need to distribute, so 3x minus 24 add 24 to both sides. Divide 3, divide 3. I do not have that multiple memorized, so I'm going to use my calculator here. I could also use long division, but if you say calculators are okay, let's use it. All right, over here, let's go ahead and multiply. 5x plus 20 equals 75. Subtract the 20 because that's the inverse. Divide 5. I get x equals 11. All right, over here, 4x minus 4 is negative 20. Add the 4. Negative 16. We got 4x. Divide 4. Divide 4. X is negative 4. Alright, so hopefully this is helping. Now our last one is our word problem. Very final one. In a free fall skydive, a skydiver begins at an altitude of 10,000 feet. So I've got a skydiver. So I'm thinking of like an airplane. And I got this person. They're jumping out, right? They're going to go down. They're going to open their parachute at some point. Okay, but in the free fall part, this is before they open the parachute. During the 1 minute free fall, they drop toward Earth at a rate of 80 feet per second. In this problem situation, identify the two quantities that would change, identify the independent and dependent, and define variables for those quantities. So I have a couple things that are going to change. I have the altitude or the height, and then I also have 1 minute free fall. So I also have time. Okay, so the independent quantity is time. We can represent it by the variable, let's use t. T for time. Dependent quantity is, we can say altitude or height. I'm going to say altitude. That's the word used here, which will be represented by the variable a. Okay, so time, we got like minutes or seconds, and then altitude, height, we've got feet, so measured by feet. All right, let's look at the question on this. Write an equation in y equals mx plus b form to represent the airplane's altitude. All right, so this is where it's a little tricky. Well, let's look at what we start at. We start at 10,000 feet. Begin at 10,000. B is going to be where I begin. Begin at 10,000 feet. All right. Now my height is A, altitude. And then I've got T for time. And it says falling. So this is the part where it's a little confusing. Dropping towards Earth at a rate of 80 feet per second. So if he's dropping or she's dropping, it's going to be 80 feet per second, but it's going to be negative as we're dropping. All right. Now my graph, I'm going to use this graph to determine approximately how long it would take for the skydiver to descend to 4,000 feet. All right, so for this one, I need to locate 4,000 feet. I'm going to do this with a color, okay, with the highlighter. So once I identify where 4,000 is, I'm going to go straight over on my graph until I touch the line that's being graphed. So now it touches this line. Now I'm going to go straight down. And I'm going to make use that to make my prediction. Okay? So if I look really closely here, we'll zoom in a little bit. I've got 60, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm like, is it 62, 4, 6, 8? No. 63, 6, 9. So it looks like it's in 1, 2, 3. So it looks like 2.5, 2.5, 0.5, 0.75, and then a hole. So it looks like right where I got to is like 67.5. All right, now if your prediction says about like 68, because you're like, it was actually a little bit to the right, that's okay as well, because we're saying approximately, and we're taking an educated guess there. All right, so I would go ahead and say 67.5. And what is this measured in? This was negative 80 feet per second. So 67.5 seconds. All right. That's where we will end this. Good luck. Make sure you work hard.